All right, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 1216 podcast. While my co-star 16 is away right now in Vegas, hope you have a great time, brother, out there with the Straw Hat crew. You know how we get down. About to go watch WrestleMania. It's finna be lit as ever. Cannot wait. Hope y'all boys have a good time and get home safe. Love y'all boys. I would have went, but obviously due to physical therapy, the accident last week, I came into some issues with my body, of course, and it does ache a lot. But I'm still my best with recovery. I want to get right into it though. I was looking at a short that Tomorrow's Verse had put out there. If you know who Tomorrow's Verse is, here's his channel right here, somewhere up on the screen. And his short was talking a little bit about the Yonkos as of right now, in a way. And he said something along the lines of, well, listen to this real quick.
3 admirals, 1 fleet admiral, 9 regenerative holy knights, 5 immortal Gorosei, and of course Emu. And I think the only way the Yonko would have any chance of beating them is if 2 Yonko crews and the Revolutionary Army all work together at the very least.
So he said along the lines, as you heard just now, he was talking a little bit about how the 2 Yonkos would have to team up, of course, to take on the world government. Now, that brings me to something that's very, very, very interesting to me, because I've thought about this for quite some time now, and it makes a little bit of sense that we would possibly, especially if you're caught up reading right now. If you're not caught up reading, I'm sorry, huge spoiler alert. This is also why we see the Shanks's twin brother Shamrock pop up as a holy knight, God's knight, if you may say. We also see Shanks's father, Sir Garland, as a 5 elder Gorosei now. So who better than to team up with Monkey D. Luffy and the Straw Hats than the red-haired pirates and the man himself, Shanks, for this in-game battle that they're going to have all out, plus the Revolutionary Army bringing back in Sabo or Sadibo, because we're going to have all 3 factions possibly teaming up to take on all of the Marines and everything they have going strong. Now, I'm going to pull up some comparisons for a few things just so we can talk about the similarities between captains, vice captains, or vice captains, second in commands, basically thirds, and so forth and so forth. The power system that we're going to have. So give me 1 second. So now we have to just see, let's see how this actually plays out. So if the world government were to be attacked right now in this moment in time, I truly believe that the Straw Hat Pirates, the Revolutionary Army, and the Red Hair Pirates would all team up to, of course, go after them. Now, this is also a theory that I have as well with the Red Hair Pirates that may or may not be involved inside this final war. And same with Blackbeard, because I don't know if the Blackbeard Pirates and the Red Hair Pirates may have a collision, since Teach is the one who put that scar over Shanks's face. It's one of those things where it's just like, all right, cool. It kind of makes sense to get that get back. And then it's a whole crew with no devil fruits versus a whole crew with devil fruits, and to see that clash go on would be kind of interesting, while we see Revolutionary Pirates and the Straw Hat Pirates teaming up against the world government. Now, that is a different theory that I'll do at a different time, but for right now, I want to talk about the possibilities of if the Yonkos were to team up with the Revolutionary Army to go against the world government, as in this situation currently standing right now. We're going to have, of course, our big name players. We're going to have Luffy. We're going to have Zoro. We're going to have Shanks. We're going to have Ben Beckman, Dragon, and also Sabo as like the top main fighters. That's the top 6 right there. And you probably even throw in Sanji and Jinbei as well. But if we do that, then we have to throw in Lucky Roux, Yasop, as well as Ivankov and Kurose. So just depend upon that. But right now, let's focus on those the main 2 from each of those courts. Now, it's 6 of them that we just named, and it's also 6 of the 5 elders, 1 being technically gone now. So we're left with Mars, Warcry, Nesjuro, Jupiter, and of course Garland. Now, with those 5 being left right there, it looks like that's something that we can kind of get into seeing, as well as watching Im Sama in the background as Im Sama is sitting on, just watching this all go down before they make their move. Now, that does not put anything at risk or failure or anything like that, because we may also see the Marines come inside there. So the Fleet Admiral Sakazuki, of course, Barcelona if he comes back, aka Kizaru, Fujitaro, and also Ryugoku, aka Aramaki. So seeing if they get involved with this as well, then having the rest of the crew coming inside there, like the Jinbei, the Sanji, the Lucky Root, the Yasops, Ivankov, and Kurose, and taking on the admirals and probably some of the vice admirals, but mostly just the admirals, which would be a good fight to have. But this fight has to play out just right, because if we're going into this final battle right now, we have 2 Yonko teams teaming up. Buggy is out, of course, because he's chasing the One Piece with the Cross Guild, and then of course the other Yonko crew is Blackbeard's crew, who may or may not be just lurking around inside their third party that they always do. Going on, we will have to see Dragon, Luffy, Sabo all teaming up for the first time together, and Luffy finally meeting his father, meeting his father for the first time. Of course, we know Dragon has met Luffy before in the past, said nothing to him, but he's always faced east, and he's always been around to make sure that Luffy grows up and can grow up a-okay. But we do look at this from a different perspective now, and it's coming on with those first mates, those chief of staffs, and actually having this matchup go well against the 5 elders. Garland is a swordsman, as well as Shanks' father, and I'm pretty sure that he's nobody to fool around with. So that would be a good match for Shanks to have, of course. Then just having that brotherly love inside there. So of course Shamrock may pop up. If Shamrock pops up because of this going on, I'm pretty sure that's when Ben Beckman will take on Shamrock, and they will have their go out at it. Up next we have Saint Jupiter. If Saint Jupiter comes back and he's actually becoming more of a big dog status, going inside of the things that he's normally just doing, and they're not getting whooped by one Yonko, even though technically speaking they were doing a whooping. But hey, Straw Hats went back and down. Egghead arc, animation finna go crazy. I can't wait for that. Back on track though. So we have up next Jupiter. Jupiter, we all know, turns into a little snake, worm, earthworm, whatever it is. That he goes around trying to do things. And what better person to fight him than possibly Dragon, of course. Or if not Dragon, then somebody along the lines of Sabo. Because Sabo, of course, is going to have to go after somebody inside that way. And I want to save Nesjiro, of course, for the battle that he's going to have with Zoro, as they are going to, of course, duke it out. Seeing Mars in action and just how the bird-like weird creature thing that he is would be a really good thing for Dragon and Luffy to probably tag up against and go after. When it comes down to the ranking system, I do see Mars looks like he's probably the one who is the most elderish. So you would think that like Jupiter would be good with it, but Jupiter being a youngin, he looks kind of young still, like he's probably the youngest one out of all of them. Well, outside of Figureland now, but he looks like he's probably the youngest one out of all of them, and it's going to play like this weird little. He may be at like a lower level, of course. So what better than to have Sabo go after him? Then we have Nesjiro. Nesjiro will be pretty cool because it has to be a swords battle, and Zoro got to shoot them once again. Probably at this moment in time, he gets back his form of his Conqueror's Haki, just getting buffed up and beefed up a little bit more for him to control it. That way he can really do damage to Nesjiro in a one-on-one fight. Then finally, leaving Topman for Dragon. Topman's going to come out there, Warcry. He's probably the biggest defense out of all of them, and Dragon may have the strongest offense out of everybody here on his list. If his Devil Fruit lives up to the hype, he has to be somebody who has to have OP Devil Fruit. Of course, know that from the way that he the way the events that happens when he pops up inside of the screen, his screen time pops up there. Like Shanks, we had to wait until see what he was really like when he put that boy Kid in his place. If you know, we all should know because that boy jumped off that thing and griffined him. Amazing though work, Shanks. Oh man, I'm glad I had to wait, but get back into it. If it comes down to defense, I think that Dragon will be the one who can probably take out Neshiro, or you flip Dragon to fighting Jupiter and you put somebody like Sabo, who is a heavy tank damage dealer with the Flame Emperor inside of him, going after somebody like Warcry. But then it leaves my boy Luffy to take on, like I said, he might have to team up with his pops, take on Mars. That would be pretty cool to see as well. And having them to or at this point in time, we have our matchups kind of set. Now we might have to also add in Sanji inside this mix, because if Im somehow does want to get involved and actually starts using the Devil Fruit some more, they're gonna have to have Luffy and Dragon team up to go against Im Sama, while Sanji takes on Mars most likely, because of the fact is that Sanji does have his Skywalk that he can depend on, so he can stay inside the air and have an air battle with him. Now this is probably the best way to put things down. If there were an in-game moment right now that were to happen, and we didn't see players like Buggy and players like Blackbeard and their crew, the Cross Guild and the Blackbeard Pirates, would be an interesting thing. But let me know down below, what do you guys think? What may be a matchup that you would want to see if it comes down to it, between two Yonko crews taking on the Royal Government right now, with the backup, of course, of the Revolutionary Army. Then don't forget, we do have the Marines inside there. Can never count them out from coming, but then that's when the other commanders, the senior officers, and of course the rest of the Straw Hat Pirates come into play at to take on some of them if they're not too busy over there with Cross Guild and the Blackbeard Pirates. But let me know down below. This is 12 rocking with us. 16 is out there, of course, like I said, in Vegas, having a grand old time. Enjoy WrestleMania. Once a year. It's a dream come true. It's magical. Please be safe out there, brothers. As well as Bag and Bird and our boy Nerd. So do your things out there, have fun, and bring back a souvenir from the One Piece shop. But the One Piece restaurant, I need one of those. But if you do like this video and you do enjoy it, please leave a comment down below. I would love to hear some of your thoughts behind just who will have these matchups, what the matchups be, if the matchups that I picked inside here in general will be good matchups, as well as share the video. It goes a long way, helps out with the algorithm, especially when you're liking a video as well. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and hopefully we'll see you guys next video when we come back, when 16 comes back from his world tour of Vegas with WWE. Other than that, this is 12 officially signing off.